What's up, everybody? Ron P from WiseGuyBets here with some Thursday night football picks between Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Philadelphia Eagles. We're going to look at the NFL showdown for tonight. So let's get right into it. At the captain position, there's 5 players that I like tonight. Mike Evans, Goodwin, Antonio Brown, Jalen Hurts, and Smith for Philadelphia. Tom Brady, to me, is just too expensive to put together a good lineup that I think will do well in a tournament tonight. He's 18-6 on DraftKings at the captain position. With that being said, I will still use him in a lineup, but I don't think Tom Brady's the greatest choice to put as your captain tonight. So let's get right into it. This is a short week. No really major injuries. Brady's nicked up a little bit, but I like young legs in short weeks. And I'm going to go with Devontae Smith for my captain. He's due for a breakout game. He hasn't really had a breakout game. He's due for a breakout game. He's been doing pretty well. He's had 19.1 fantasy points. His week 2, and he only had 3.6. Week 3, he only had 5.8. But in week 4, he had 19.2. In week 5, he had 14.7 fantasy points. Tampa Bay is 29th against the pass. I think Philadelphia will have success in the pass. And I think that Philadelphia will get down and they will even have to pass more, even though they do not run the ball that much. But I think they will be put in a position where they have to pass. For the flex position, I'm going to select Jalen Hurts. I'm going to select the quarterback for my captain that I selected. Jalen Hurts is a fantasy stud so far this season. He has gotten over 21 points in all of his games this year, with the highest being 28.2 week 4, the lowest being 21.8 week 2. So Mr. Hurts is going to bring it. Mr. Hurts is going to pass. Mr. Hurts is going to have to use his legs tonight. And, he's another person that, again, I will be using in lineups as my captain. But in this lineup, he's in my flex position. For the next flex position, I'm going to take Mike Evans. Mike Evans is just steady. He had a big game on Sunday. Let's see his numbers. For the last week 1, he didn't do well. He only had 5.4 fantasy points. But since week 1, week 2, he had 24.5. Week 3, he had 18.6. Week 4, he had 14.5. And last week, this past Sunday, he had 29.3 fantasy points. I know he scored 2 touchdowns in that game. So he's wide receiver number 1 for Tampa, and Tom Brady's going to feed him. And I like him in this position tonight. At my other flex position, I'm going to select Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown is a gamer. Anytime he's on television, he performs. I like him over Chris Goodman tonight. He's going to be in that flex position. He's going to be, in that slot position a lot. And I like his matchup tonight. Antonio Brown has gotten 23.7 first game. He only had 2.7 in game 2. He was inactive for game 3. Game 4, he had 13.3 fantasy points. And his last game, which was Sunday, he had 31.4 fantasy points. He also had 2 touchdowns in that game. So Antonio Brown is another person I'm using at my flex position. At my other flex position, I'm going to select Giovanni Bernard for Tampa. I think this since on a short turnaround, Fournette, is a little older back. I think they're going to lean on their other backs more this game, Giovanni Bernard and Ronald Jones. Bernard is mainly their receiving back. So I think he will be leaned on more in this game. Also, since they're not leaning too much on the tight end since Gronk is out. You really can't trust Brake getting a lot of touches. So I like Bernard in this position. In his games this season, he's had 3.2, 3.6. But if you notice the games since Gronk has been out, 20.1 fantasy points and 11.5 fantasy points. He was targeted 10 times in the Ram game. He was only targeted 2 times in the Miami game, and he has a touchdown in each. So basically, I'm betting on Bernard to get in the end zone. Seems like that's what they're using him for, and in that red zone position since Gronk is out. So I like Bernard in this position tonight. So we have 1,400 available. You can go with O.J. Howard, not confident in him. You can even go with Tyler Johnson, receiver he's basically the 4th receiver for Tampa Bay. And he actually had 9.3 fantasy points in game 3, and he had 7.2 fantasy points in the last game. So he's a huge possibility in this game for someone on the cheap, around $1,000 that you can put in your lineup. They can probably get you some points. But I'm not even going with Johnson. I'm going to take a flyer on Ward. The reason I'm taking a flyer on Ward, I think this game could be a blowout. And Ward has, in the games that Philly has been out of contention of in the fourth quarter, Ward has came in and scored touchdowns in each. That was game 3 and 4. He had 8.5 fantasy points in each of those games, with a touchdown in each of those games. I think Ward could be a factor tonight. And at $800, I'm going to put him into my lineup because I'm able to get Smith, Hurts, Evans, Brown. Those 4 players should provide me significant points in the showdown matchup. Count on Bernard to do what Bernard's been doing since Gronk has been out. Also, maybe a heavier workload since we're on a short week, with them not using Fournette as much, on a very short week. So those are my picks. This is just one lineup you can use with Devontae Smith being your captain. Again, I will target 5 players tonight as my captain: Tom Brady, Chris Goodwin, Antonio Brown, Jalen Hurts, and Devontae Smith. So this is just a possible lineup you can use. In these tournaments, you have to get out of line to win. So you're going to have to study those players that may not have been playing that much, may not be high on other people's radar, like a Bernard, like a Ward, like the 3rd and 4th wide receiver for Tampa Bay and Philadelphia, and try to fit those guys in your lineup. Tampa Bay has been horrible against the pass. So you may see an uptick in production from all of the Philly wide receivers. And, Philly's Tampa Bay's favored by 6.5 in this game. Thursday night games can be crazy. Tampa Bay could blow them out. This game could be close. So you got to factor all that in, but this is just one possible lineup we can use with Devontae Smith. So If my picks help you, go ahead and hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. That would be greatly appreciated. But until the next video, peace.